View teleprompter, create videos you're proud of. Easily trim your video by selecting the words where you want to start and end. Color your presentation with automatic subtitles and highlighting keywords. Add your brand logo. Add music for an emotional touch. Add your contact info on an animated business card on all your videos. Easily replace green screen with an image or a video loop. Stand out with a web page with your logo, your video at the center, and personalized button for visitors to interact. It's one tap to simultaneously upload your videos on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Always know what to say next with the Big View teleprompter.
Hey everybody, welcome to another educational session with Big View, where we bring to you the best ways to grow your business with video. My name is Robert Kennedy III. RK3 is what the cool people call me, and I am glad to be here with you again today. As we do all the time, we have some fantastic sessions. We've got some fantastic presenters, and I don't know if you're ready for today. Let me see. What are we talking about today, my friend? We're talking about how to captivate people and keep them engaged online so that you don't come across as salesy. And I'm going to be sharing with you our LinkedIn Whisperer today in just a few moments. Do me a favor. If you have a question today as we go through the content, type the letter Q in the comment box and type your questions after that. All right. So just type Q and then whatever question you have, and we'll bring that question up in the session today. We're going to be having a couple of giveaways, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Just as context, for me, I'm Robert Kennedy III. You can look up Robert Kennedy III on LinkedIn. I do things with real estate companies, real estate agents, trainings, workshops, and we talk about how to show up at your best on video using storytelling. So if you want to get in touch with me and we want to work on that piece of your business, then reach out to me, get in touch with rk3.com. All right. So without further ado, let me see if I can find all of our information that we want to work through today. We're going to be going through something called the ideal buyer persona. And our guest today, Dr. Nancy Zaire, is going to be showing you how to pull that apart. Individualize videos to captivate prospects is our workshop for today. So without further ado, let me introduce who she is. Dr. Nancy Zaire is graduated with a degree in psychology from Boston University. She's earned her PhD in social work. She's done psychiatric work. She's done group work. She's done employee assistance programs. She founded a company called Rapport Builders. She's also the author of 6 books, many articles, and the originator of the Likability system, which we're going to walk through today. And this is based on what she calls the Platinum Rule. All right. So she is a student of spirituality, lives in South Florida, and she's a volunteer. She loves dogs. And so she serves as a foster family for the Farm Dog Rescue. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Dr. Nancy and learn about individualizing video for your prospects without seeming salesy, let's jump on in. Dr. Nancy, welcome to the Big View session. How you doing today?
Oh, phenomenal. And it's so good to be here. Thank you, Robert, for that beautiful introduction.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, listen, I am so glad that you're here, and I'm a big fan of video. I don't know if you could tell already, but I'm a big fan of video. I'm a big fan of storytelling. I'm a big fan of connecting with people in an authentic, engaging way. Tell us how you got started in what you do.
Well, my origin story really starts because I was born a psychologist. I've always been interested in behavior, human, animal, all behavior. And my parents happened to have a very challenging, stormy marriage. And I remember as a little girl, the glasses breaking, cupboards banging, loud voices yelling, and so forth. Rather than be scared, I actually wanted to help my folks. And when you fast forward to around the age of 10 or 11, I saw a TV show in which the father helped his quarreling children get along. I tried that on my folks. Believe it or not, they let me. They're deceased, and I can't ask them at this point what allowed them to do that, but I think it's because they saw something in me that suggested that maybe I could help. long story short, Robert, at the end of that session, I turned to my dad. Both parents are native born English speaking adults. And I said to him, this is what you need to do so mom will feel loved. And I turned to mom and I said to her, this is what you need to do so dad will be respected. Notice the words changed. And that's because I translated what I heard. And that's the heart of what it is I teach people, to use the right language, the right words that are going to connect authentically with your prospect.
Let me ask you a question really quickly. It's a personal question. How old were you when this conversation took place? Because this seems like something incredibly challenging for a child to say to parents.
I'm telling you, I was only 10, 11 at most. And the reason I can remember that is because my oldest brother, who's 8 years my senior, had just gone to college. And so this was a conversation I had just with my parents. And my other brother happened not to be in the house at the time. Yeah. So, yeah, I was a youngster. And if you're a parent of a child, it's hard to imagine letting your child talk to you about relationships and a marriage when she's only 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I was gifted, clearly, right?
Yeah. So you have this gift at an early age. So let's fast forward to later on, or maybe now. So you've got this gift of really deep diving into the psyche of people and understanding people in a very personalized, individualized way. So how do you begin to combine this with the idea of selling or sales?
Well, I will share with you that as a child, I thought selling was manipulative. And I think it was back in, a couple, 20, 30 years ago. That was the norm for people to be, twisting your arm and, backing you into a corner, etc. So I wanted nothing to do with selling, right? I'm a service-oriented person, psychologist, etc. But the government paid for my graduate studies, and they paid for me to implement, as you said, employee assistance programs, mental health services in the workplace, which was very much, it resonated with me. But what I found out upon graduation is you cannot implement a program until it's sold. Yeah. And that's how I backdoored into selling. And so my favorite person to work with is very much like me, Robert. It's somebody who had this rude awakening. They got their graduate degrees, they got certifications, a license, they've studied their occupation, love what they do. But selling? Nobody talked to me about selling. And candidly, many of us don't like it.
Yeah. So let's bring this to the world of video. We're on a big view session right now. So, we've got to talk about video. I think the word inside of the title for the session today is individualize. One of the hardest things for people is, I can sit in front of a computer or in front of my phone and we can press that red button and record, but who am I talking to? How do I know who I'm talking to? Is there something that I need to do because I'm doing the recording, I'm doing the video, and I'm not getting the results that I want? What do I need to do with that?
To me, it's the same phenomena with my parents who were arguing back and forth and not getting the results they wanted from their spouse. And it's a matter of speaking the right language based upon your prospect's personality, or what I call buying style. And I'm going to go through that. And I'm wondering if this might be a good time for us to start the slides.
Yep, let's do that.
So, that's our title slide, how to captivate your prospects. And now I'm going to ask you in the next slide 2 questions, and I'm going to encourage you, please, to participate and write your comments. Do you want more clients? Is that why you're here watching this show, either live or on replay? Do you want more clients? Simply say yes. And do you want to make better videos that will connect with your audience? And if that's true, put down true. So yes, for I want more clients, true, I want more videos. And if you want both, go ahead and put both. And so, Robert, I know you're monitoring our comments. So do we have people who fall into those categories?
Yeah, well, I see that Tangela says yes. Michelle Lee says yes and yes for both of them. Nellie says yes. Joanne says yes. Elizabeth says yes. Michelle Brigman says yes. More clients and better videos. Yes, yes. We got a lot of yeses coming through. Elizabeth Salamaria says true. Tangela again says true. We've got a lot of people saying true. Elizabeth says both. Paul Kirkpatrick says both. Yeah, so we have a lot of people. We have a lot of boths coming in right now. Adam says both. Francois says both. Sunny, Kathy, Deidre, Anna says both. We got Enitram Creative Solutions says both. So yeah, everybody wants more clients and better videos, it feels like.
Then we're all in the right place. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you in the next slide about what the secret is, which is the likability system. And this is the system that I've created. And go ahead and click on the next slide if you would. And I want to share with you about the likability system, because the best salespeople outsell the average 57-1. Now, you might not want to be that superstar, salesperson, but you definitely want to get your share. And what I did, Robert, is I went ahead and I studied the best salespeople, the masters. I'm sure you're familiar with people like Zig Ziglar, and I could go on. I won't name drop at this point. But here's what they all had in common. They adjust what they say to match their prospect, and they're on automatic. You see, they've learned perhaps through trial and error, perhaps like me, they were born with a particular gift, but over time they have developed this skill in which they adjust what they say to match their prospect. And it turns out that when you ask them, they can't give you an answer because they are on automatic. And if you watch them, they're not doing something extraordinary. So it looks like a secret. But as I shared with you, and I'm going to go on to the next slide, it's a likability. And a likability, since I'm the one who created and coined that word, I'm going to define it for you. It's a skill that raises the perception. Perception are feelings and thoughts within your prospect, within your audience, that, wow, you get me. We're alike. Think about it for a moment. When your prospect says, wow, you get me, we're alike, doesn't some magic happen? And because it's a skill can be learned. Hence, that's what I do. I teach the skill of how to create the feeling, the thought within the other person of, yeah, you get me, we're alike. And so I'm going to go on to the next slide. As you mentioned in the introduction, it's based on the platinum rule. Now, when I had that rude awakening that I had to sell, and I went back to school, not to get a degree, I went to the library to study the masters. And eventually I came across Tony Alessandra, who wrote a book called The Platinum Rule. I actually heard him speak, and it totally resonated with me. The golden rule, which many of us know, is to treat others the way I want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. And so now in the next slide, I'm going to ask you, again, this is a time for you to comment in underneath there. What do you think the benefits could be if your videos spoke to that prospect, connected with them through the platinum rule, that you were speaking their language, treating them the way they want to be treated? What could be the advantages, the benefits to you when that happens? And again, I'll pause, Robert, and let you maybe read off some of the comments that are going to come in.
So let's repeat that question again.
What are the benefits of following the platinum rule, which is treating others the way they want to be treated?
Okay, go ahead. So if you have a response, go ahead and put that in the chat. What are the benefits of treating others in the way that they want to be treated? All right, let's see if we get any answers in here. Paul says they will tell others. I love it. Okay. Gloria says they can trust you. Fantastic. Lynn says they would feel a connection. They feel safe. Fantastic. Esther says connection with your audience. Black Power says trust. Brenda says build my capacity. Tangela says long-term clients. Wow. Fantastic. They feel good, says Alina. It draws them to you, says Deirdre. Michelle says they're already bought in. Loyalty. I'm getting a lot of things here. They like to buy from us. Connection and trust. Elizabeth says build trust. We're getting a lot of trust in here. Dr. Warner Richard says they feel seen. And then, of course, somebody took your term. Self-Care Confidential said a likability.
Oh, I love it. So kudos. I am giving you applause, all of those who took time to respond. And so on the next slide, I'm going to share with you the 3 particular benefits. But of course, the biggest benefit is you're going to increase sales, get more clients, which obviously many of us want to do, right? Yeah. So a few of you mentioned comfort, and I also want to highlight that, because if you know anything about neuroscience of the brain, remember I've got that PhD in psychology, so forgive me, but the first part of that brain, called the reptilian brain, the critter brain, that part of us is operating unconsciously, and it is evaluating everyone we meet, and making a choice between whether this is friend or foe, whether I want to get to know this person or whether I should flee. Yes, unconsciously, without you even thinking about it, you are evaluating that other person in that manner. Now, your conscious brain might try to override it, but your unconscious reptilian brain is trying to figure out whether I'm going to be safe or not. So comfort, safety is absolutely fundamental before we can actually have a relationship and connect with our audience. Many of you mentioned trust, and I totally concur, because we do business with those we know, like, and trust. And hence, trust is a foundation for what it is that we're going, won't go any farther if there isn't trust established. But what many people don't recognize, and I don't think I saw it in the comments, Robert, is that there's sales resistance. You see, every transaction, the prospect enters it with their guard up. They're not sure whether, are you going to try to sell me and be pushy and aggressive? And so we're very protective, and our sales resistance is high. The phenomenon is when you enter a store and a clerk approaches you and says, may I help you? And our reaction is, no, thanks, just looking. And hence we love to buy, but we don't like to be sold. When the trust is high and the sales resistance is low, that opens the door to doing business together. Hence, the biggest benefit is, yes, when you practice the likability, when you implement the platinum rule, you are going to get more clients, and people are going to have more eyeballs viewing your videos. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to go on to the next slide here, because, again, this is an opportunity for you to comment. And why do people buy? We are trying to create videos so that people will get to know us. I love that about video, is because, Robert, we hadn't met, but I watched your videos and I felt like I already knew you because I had seen your videos. So video is such a wonderful tool for connecting with someone who you haven't even met yet. So why do people buy? And video is such a good platform for reaching our buyers. But I'm going to ask you, why do people buy? And again, if you would share with me the comments that are coming in. Why do people buy?
We've got a few comments in here already. To get the goods and services we need, says Michelle. Somebody says to fill a need, quality, value. Something is eye-catching. That's why we buy. So we've got at least a few answers there about why we buy. Somebody needs my services. Yep.
Okay, next slide. I've got a rude awakening for you. All of you who put this down, people are buying for their reasons, not yours.
Right.
They're buying for their reasons, not yours. Hence, I put up 4 major reasons why people actually buy. There are people who buy because they want a connection with the seller. They're looking for a friendship. There are other people who are buying because of the fact that it fits economically within their range, and they got a bargain, and they can afford it. And that's why they bought. Other people forget the budget. Status. I want to elevate my prestige, my reputation. Here I am, pay attention to me. And lastly, solution. As many of you said, I've got a need and I need to fill it. So there are actually different reasons why people buy. People buy for their reasons, not yours. And many times when we create our videos, we're focused on our own reasonings. And those reasons, they will connect with some of your audience, but not all your audience, because of the fact that you're not speaking their language. Again, makes sense?
Yes, it does. It makes sense to
Okay.
me.
All
Yeah.
right, on to the next slide. So how do your prospects want to be treated? That's the platinum rule. Treat them the way they want to be treated. Well, it turns out that there are 4 distinct styles. This is based upon research, or actually at the time, Hippocrates, father of modern medicine, he noticed that people came in 4 distinct styles, 4 distinct body types, and he treated them medically according to that. Well, as it turns out, since that time, we have done a lot of evolving and found out that there are over 200 personality systems. Some of you may have heard of Myers-Briggs or DISC, or there are animals, colors, objects, words. 200 of these kinds of systems. Well, I'm going to introduce you again to the likability system and our 4 styles. And it's based upon research that 35 years in the making, research that identified these 4 styles in terms of how long it takes someone to make up their mind. So if we go on to the next slide, I want to share with you these 4 styles. I use numbers to represent how long it takes someone to decide. Our number 2 buyer, as we will go into detail in a moment, is very fast. They make up their mind in only 1, at most 2 sessions. The number 4, well, they make up their mind fairly quickly, 2 or 3 sessions, but they need 1 more touch point after the sale. And hence, if you add 1 to 3, you get 4. Our number 6 buyer makes up their mind in 5, 6, 7 touch points, average of 6. And I think of them as the average buyer because 60% of sales take place after 6 touch points. And finally, the number 8 buyer. If you turn the 8 on its side, it becomes a symbol for infinity. And this is the person that takes 8 or more contacts. They're the ones who have to take a deep nosedive, learn everything they can, and may not even decide at that point. Analysis paralysis. So those are the 4 buying styles. And I want to go on now to talk about each of them in depth, because you may want to connect with 1 or 2 of these styles because they resonate with you. So on the next slide, I'm going to share more about these styles. And specifically, what I'm going to share about is the values behind each of those styles. Because when you speak the language of values, that's what's going to make your video viewers pay attention to what you're saying. Just like when I used the word love versus respect, it allowed the other person to connect to what I was saying. So we need to speak the language of values. And now I want to talk about each of the 4 styles. And I'm going to go on to the next slide and start talking about the number 2 buyer. As I mentioned, this is the person who's very fast. They make up their mind in only 1, at most 2 contacts. They tend to be the person that most marketing efforts focus on this individual because of the fact that they are deciding, like today. Research has shown, however, and this is research that Chet Holmes is responsible for doing, that at any given moment, only 2 to 3% of your audience is ready to buy. Only 2 to 3% are ready to buy. Another 7% Well, it is an issue that is on their minds. And if you came across with this irresistible offer, they might be willing to move forward and decide today. But do the math. 3% plus 7% equals 10%. 90%, 9 out of 10 people are not ready to buy today. And yet, our marketing, our videos, are usually aimed at buy my stuff now, right? Fear of missing out. You've got the urgency, the deadline happens. Well, that is language that appeals to our number 2 buyers, but it is a turnoff to the other buyers. So I really want you to understand that if you want to individualize your videos, you need to use language that's going to connect authentically with your prospects. And that language is the language of values. Hence, with the number 2 person, I'm going to describe some of their big values. These are some of the words that you want to use. And by the way, the synonyms all work too. So you don't have to use exactly the words I'm going to share with you. Their number 1 value is freedom. And many of us came to this country, or our parents or grandparents came to the United States, or wherever you might be living. They came for freedom politically, freedom religiously. Well, the number 2 buyer, it's freedom economically. They don't want a boss. They don't want a limit. They don't want to be told what to do and when to do it. They are looking for that kind of freedom. And that is their foremost value. Don't tell me what to do. I need to do it my way. They can be very much of the maverick, very independent, want things, the red carpet treatment, because they want things done when they want them done. So that is one of their biggest values. Another big value, and again, you can use different words to talk about that. Remember, they're fast decision makers. So another value is they take action, and they like energy, and they want the enthusiasm. And these are people who respond to high energy selling, high energy conversations. They cut you off mid-sentence because they know what you're about to say, and they want to get on with it. Very, very quick people, very decisive. So another major value then is energy. They are energetic people, and they're highly competitive. But they don't compete to play the game. They compete to win the game. So it's important that the value that you are talking about is that they want to win. They want to be the best. They want to be the only. They want to be the top of the heap. Anything that's innovative and different and outstanding, well, that belongs to me as the number 2. Those are 3 of their top values. There are others. But again, in the chat box, if there are any questions, I'm the kind of presenter that doesn't mind being interrupted in midstream because of the fact that I believe adult learners need to get their questions answered when the question comes up. So if there's something happening that way, you have a question right now to try to understand that number 2 buyer and their values, go ahead and put that in the comment section, and I'll pause.
All right. Yeah, you can keep going. I'll pause you as questions come in. I do see DJ Icebreaker saying, I need high energy to sell and enthusiasm. So maybe responding to that as well.
I want to piggyback on that, because that's what selling is. It's a transfer of energy. And so the number 2 buyer is looking for you to be highly energetic, engaged, and excited, because that's what resonates with them. But if you use that same technique on the number 8 buyer, who is much more cerebral and intellectual and wanting to think things through, they will be turned off entirely. And that's why it's so important for you to know your audience and to directly create videos for that audience. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. All right. Anything else, Robert, before I go on to the next slide?
Nope, not just yet. Keep going.
Okay, then let's do number 4 buyer. And again, I'm going to talk about this particular buyer. They take about 2 or 3 contacts, touch points, before they can make up their mind. But they need one additional touch point after they've said yes. Please make a note of that. They need as many as 4 contacts, but one of them has to come after they have already agreed to work with you. And why is that? This is the person who gets buyer's remorse. They're the ones who get cold feet. They're the ones who no-show. They don't like a conflict, and they're very much a people pleaser. Hence, they don't say overtly, this doesn't please me. They just disappear. So be aware of that for our number 4. What is their top value? The number 4 buyer's top value is relationships. Remember, I said that people buy for their own reasons. This person is buying for friendship. They will actually spend a little bit more money if they can support a friend. Mm-hmm. And so it's up to you to create that friendship in that feeling, that bond, that connection with that number 4 buyer. And that's why video is so good for number 4 buyers, because they connect with you, they feel you, they want to get to know you personally. And so for some of us who I know are a little shy about showing ourselves on video, this is a very good reason why you should have at least some of the video in which they can see you and they can see you talking, because they want to connect with you. So number 1 value is relationship. The second thing I'm going to talk about is this is a person who wants to serve others, and they want to do something beyond themselves. It's very important that they feel like they are doing something of significance, something that goes beyond self. They're drawn to causes, saving the planet, doing something beneficial for humankind. So this is, again, a big value for our number 4 buyer. And the last one I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, well, you can finish that one. I have a question here about this that's coming from the chat, but yeah, go ahead and finish your last piece.
So the last value I'm going to talk about for the number 4 buyer, the last value is the fact that this is a person who likes to be part of a team and do things together and be part of a community. So they want a connection. Not only do they want the friendship with you, but if perhaps you have other people on your team, introduce them, because they want to feel like they're part of the family. They want to feel connected and be a part of the community. And hence here, even in Big View, right now, we're all part of this community and sharing with each other. And that is probably a big reason why, or one of the reasons why you might be here. Okay, Robert, what do you have for me?
So there's a question from Tangela, and it says, how do you know which style a prospect is during the first contact? Is this based on research, or is this based on research that you've done on the prospect?
Absolutely. It's based on research. So even before you've met with somebody, you can go look them up on LinkedIn usually, or Facebook, or maybe they have a website. However, you can find information about this individual. And one of the things I teach my clients is how to look at a photo that has been posted on social media, and especially a photo of the individual. I'm not talking about some of our AI photos, artificial intelligence generated photos or scenery or things like that, but the photo of the individual. And by looking at their smile or lack of smile, by looking at their facial hair or makeup, looking at things like eyeglasses, looking at hairstyle, accessories, all of this is clues as to what the style is. And then if you read their words, I'm giving you value words that you want to use in your videos. Well, the same value words will be in their posts. Mm-hmm. It's a dead giveaway. So when you read what they're writing, now it has to be their writing. Many of us I know are farming off some of these things and are using AI to generate content. But one of my secrets is you go down to the recommendation section in LinkedIn, and you look at recommendations given, because I don't delegate that to anybody. I write my own recommendations as to why I value my colleague, and hence those values of my colleague are my values. And that's how you can identify personality style. Great question.
Yeah. So um, I'll ask Michelle's question because I think these questions, the, the information that we've shared so far is about maybe personal contact, but how do you do that within video? Michelle's question is, how do you cover all of these prospects within the same video? Because you may not know them individually, but you're making a video for the person type. So how do you do that?
So, Michelle, what I recommend is either you're going to put the value words of all four styles in the video, or think about how you can promote and give your message using language in all four styles, which, by the way, is a challenge, but can be done. I know both Robert and I happen to speak on stage, and I am sure he crafts for his introducer what to say. I usually do the same. And when I do that, I make sure to touch all four styles. And so, for example, this number 2 style would be excited to know that I want to race on the Autobahn because that shows my energy and my drive. The number 4 buyer wants to know that I volunteer for the Farm Dog Rescue because that shows that I want to do something better to better the planet. So that's how you do it, is you craft it very subtly in terms of adding in the words that are going to appeal to all four styles. Okay, shall I move on?
Let's go with one more question here.
Sure.
You mentioned that the style 2 are about 10% of people, and so Francois's question is, what's the percentage of the style number 4 person?
So number 4 is probably around 25%, 25%. Okay. I usually, and you'll find out that the biggest style tends to be number 6.
Okay.
And that's because so many of our societies, especially public school system in many of our countries, try to train us to be good citizens, to follow the rules and to do what's expected of us. And hence we produce a lot of people who feel compelled to be like this. Having said that, I will also share with you that there are other countries, for example, Brazil, where they put more emphasis on the number 2 style. And so regardless of your own personal temperament, you find yourself wanting to show off and sprout yourself as if you're that number 2 because society respects that and wants that of us. Other societies have different norms. So you're going to find that even though it's innate within us, that there are different percentages based upon our countries. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes.
So I'm going to go on
yes.
to the next slide to talk about our number 6. And our number 6 buyer, as I indicated to you, I think of them as average because of the fact that 60%, 70% of sales are made after 6 touch points. And you may be wondering what's going on that's taken them so long to make up their mind. Well, this is the person who's going to business directories, looking up the company, looking you up, asking for recommendations, reading testimonials, getting references. In other words, they want social proof. And before they can take a step, that's so important to them. So their value is safety and security. A number 1 value is they want to be safe and secure. They don't want surprises. They're not risk takers. And hence they need social proof, other people's experiences and recommendations in order for them to go forward. This is a person who values structure and rules. They want a plan. The budget is a big structure for them. They stay within the budget. And if you recommend services and products that go outside the budget, they don't budge. They have a limited amount that they have planned to spend, and that's it. They'll not buy something and save up in order to purchase it without using credit cards. So it's very important for them that there's a plan and a structure, and that they stay within those guidelines. And the last value is that this is a person who values rules. Every society has rules. This person is a stickler for following rules, whether the rules are grammar, in terms of how you speak and how you write, whether the rules are attendance, whether you come early, leave, late. All these things are things they're taking note of. And so this is a rule follower. They absolutely stay within the lines. They want you to be professional and organized. And those are their major values. So again, any questions coming through, Robert? Should I pause?
No, there are some other questions, but keep going and we'll address a couple of them a little bit later on.
Okay, so we're on to our last buyer, the number 8 buyer. And I want to, again, share with you, this would be on the next slide. The number 8 buyer, remember, is someone who's going to start with 8 contacts. And I have not really talked about what these touch points or contacts are. So I'm going to take a moment to share with you that touch points and contacts include many things that are in real time. For example, right now we're communicating in real time for those of you who are present. But if you're watching the replay, we're not communicating in real time. Hence, you're not able to ask me a question and get it answered in real time. And so a touch point that's in real time is more valuable, goes into the computation of how many touch points we need. It's a full touch point, whereas a lot of the digital things we do, for example, we're putting out a video. When did they watch it? Do they watch it? Did they watch the whole thing? And I know we have a lot of analytics to help us take a look at that, but I'm sharing with you that then becomes a partial touch point. So does an email or text messaging, calling people on the phone. So that's what I mean by a touch point. Our number 8 buyer, as I mentioned, starts with 8. And they're very thoughtful, very careful. Their number 1 value is learning. This is the person who wants to get their license or degree or credential in your field, your area of expertise. They want to know everything they can before they can make a decision. They want to be smart about it. They don't want surprises of, well, I didn't do my homework. So this person is constantly asking questions, diving into, searching the web, reading articles, collecting information and so forth, attending podcasts so that they can learn everything they can. A very thoughtful, very careful person, their number 1 value is to learn. Closely associated with that is expertise. This is a person who strives to become an expert themselves, but they want you to be the expert. And so you need to convey your expertise. And again, video is a wonderful tool for demonstrating, especially those videos where we show people something and walk them through the steps. It demonstrates our expertise, our competence, our intelligence, because that's so important for this individual. And the last value is that this person is an independent thinker. They look at the big picture. They need to see the whole scheme of things. And so when you're promoting, marketing to this individual, don't leave out. You want to show them everything you can, because remember, this person wants to learn all they can. They will take that big picture and then they chop it up. They're very inventive and creative, and then they re-glue it together, and create something new. So they've got inventive, creative minds, but you've got to feed them the information before they put that mind into operation. They are a free thinker and they stand by it. So again, I want to pause and see where we are.
Yep. So Juan was asking the question, where do impulse buyers fit? You've got recreational shoppers, trendy buyers, followers, but where do impulse buyers fit into this equation?
Number 2, remember, an impulse buyer is buying on the spot usually, right? That's what impulse means. So they tend to be your number 2, your number 2 buyers. Good question.
All right. And so Hobby is asking the question, what number would be relevant for attraction marketing?
Okay, so attraction marketing is really all of these, right? Because you want to attract your ideal prospect. And let me share a little bit about these 4 styles. I've presented them as if they are separate, pure styles. But in reality, each of us is a combination of all 4 styles. And by the way, each of these styles is linked to one of the quadrants of the brain. So what brain quadrant is dominant, in terms of our style? Well, it turns out that 30% of the population, they have a one part of the brain that they just use all the time. It is their go-to, both personally and socially and business-wise. That's how they make decisions. But 60%, 60, more than half, 60% of the population, they vacillate, fluctuate. They go back and forth between 2 of these 4 styles. One style is their social style. And that's usually at home in their personal lives. They make a decision one way. That might be impulsive, right? But when it comes to business, all of a sudden I become this careful buyer and I have to do my research. So people can have 2 styles that they turn to, one socially and one for business. Just to complete the picture here, because again, I want to work with everyone who needs the whole vision here. 7% of the population actually are strong in 3 styles. And so you may find them, 2 of those styles operate in their business, and then 2 styles operate in their personal life. And again, but they really are strong in 3 of the 4 styles. And finally, a very small percentage, 3%, really go through all 4 styles. So clearly, you need to determine, who is my ideal person? Is it style, one of those 4 styles only? Or are there 2 styles? And there's a good chance that there are 2 styles that are really the ones you want to create videos for. And so you want to help put in that language rather than try to, shotgun, let me spray it all around, buckshot all over. Let me just be very targeted and use a rifle and just choose the person, my buyer, who's going to respond to my language. Any other questions, Robert?
Yeah. So Tangela wants to know, have you seen that each style aligns with any specific industries?
Great question, because I do believe that there are certain, we are drawn to certain occupations because of our style.
Right.
And so most of the people that are right here on this program, listening live, there's a good chance that you are high in the number 2 style because of the fact that you are an entrepreneur, because that is an occupation that entrepreneurs are drawn to, or the number 2 style. So you probably have a good amount of number 2 in you. But remember, not everyone does, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be careful, because you may be selling to yourself rather than selling to your ideal buyer. And as you think of these 4 styles, in fact, I'm going to invite you in the comment section, who is your ideal? Who do you think you would prefer to work with? And again, if there are 2 styles, go ahead and put in those 2 styles. My guess is that you are probably putting in information based upon your own style. You see, we sell the way we buy. And hence our own way of making up our minds, it may be the basis of how we're selling to people. And again, there are probably a good number of people right now watching this video who are strong in the number 8 style. And that's because you're techie, you're geeky, you love to learn, you are just taking a nosedive, you are gloriously enjoying developing new skills and learning and gaining expertise. So again, there's going to be a lot of 8s that are part of this program right now. Now, the 4s are people who want to connect with others. Video is such a great mechanism. Hence, there's probably some sneaky 4s that are here too, who probably share that number 2 or number 8 style, and hence we're here as well. The number 6, they tend to be more corporate owners of, they work for corporations. Why? They like the stability, the security, the safety of a job. They may not be among us, although I'm sure there's a few of us like that.
Yeah. Mike wants to go a little bit deeper, it looks like. He's asking the question, are there general professional terms for the 2468 buyers so I'll know what to look up as research?
Well, since I created the system, the answer is no, other than the words that I gave you. For example, fast, decisive is 2, friendly, trusting is 4, and so forth. So the answer is sorry. This is my unique system. So hence, when you do research, guess whose name is going to pop up? It's going to be my material.
Love it, love it, love it. So I see, I'm looking at the chat here, and a lot of the people are saying 2 and 6, 2 and 8. I see quite a few 2 and 8s. I see 2, 4, and 6. I gotta say, I don't know if I'm thinking about selling to the people that I like to sell to, I don't know if I want to sell to a number 8. I don't want somebody who's thoughtful and careful and takes a long time. I want to sell quick.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that, Robert, because I'm about to tell you why we want to sell to number 8s. You see, all our friends, the friends of number 8s, know that this person does their homework, that they take a deep nosedive and they learn and they gobble up research. And by the time they make a decision, I can trust what this person has decided. So although it took them a while, we follow them. We follow them. Hence, although it takes time to sell the number 8, and by the way, that's what videos are doing. We're putting out content. We're appealing to the number 8 because, as you know, video is a major search tool. It's a major way that people are gaining information. Hence, keep doing those videos. So we have just a couple more things I want to say on the slides. Is there any other question?
There's one more. This one's a little bit more lighthearted. It's Chris says, I'm an 8, but my avatar is Tina Turner. What could be her style?
I don't know Tina Turner that well, so but if you showed me pictures of her and so forth, I'd probably be able to analyze it because that's what the LinkedIn Whisperer does. So go on to the next slide if we could. And I just want to again emphasize that we sell the way we buy. Hence, it's very important for you to know what's your style, because that's the kind of videos you're producing. You're producing videos that are in concert with your own style. And in the next slide, I want to share with you that in order to find out what your style is, I have a free gift for everybody who is here today. And that is what I call the Likability Scorecard. It takes about 5 minutes to complete. It will tell you what your style is, first, second, third, and fourth. It gives you numbers, it gives you description, and I'm happy to give that as my gift to everybody who has been here and has participated. And that ends our slides for right now. And so for those, I do also have a special gift for 2 or 3 of you who are, have been participating up to now. And that is, I have various numbers that are associated with my birth date. And hence, I'm going to be selecting based on your comments 2 or 3 participants to receive a very special gift in which I will review your buyer persona and your video and actually be able to tweak your script to put in the value words that will help you connect quickly and authentically with your viewer. So 2 people, maybe 3. I am generous. You're wondering, yeah, I got number 4 in me. I definitely do. I am a generous person. So I may choose 3 because it's hard to just limit it to 2.
All right. So they need to send you an email at nancy.zaire@gmail.com. What should be included in that email?
Video assessment.
Okay.
Okay.
So they should send you
Anything
a link to
that
a
you say
YouTube video
video
or something. Okay.
That's right. Just say you would like the video gift, and I will give that to you.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So we are just about at the end here. So email Nancy, nancy.zaire@gmail.com. You can also visit Nancy at nancyzaire.com as well to find out more about who she is, what she does, the great work that she does in the world, and how you can get assessed by her so that you can be even more powerful and transformational when you create videos for your buyers. All right, let's see if there are any final questions. If not, let me see. Yeah, I think we're out. We're out of questions today. Seeing some people just saying thank you for the learning. Thank you for being here. It would be wonderful. Wayne loves creating video content. Florida Fun Favorites, they love doing videos as well. And of course, Susan L. Stoneman says, Nina D. Roach and I are both 8s and both use our middle initials. Yes, you both do. Excellent. Well, listen, thank you all so much for being here on another fantastic educational session with Big View, where we teach you how to be more effective, more efficient, more confident, more compelling using video. I'll see you next time. Nancy, we'll see you, I don't know, another time or when you email her. All right. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I appreciate you.
To your sales success.
Storytellers, thanks for joining me on the session. I'm so pumped that we were connected, and I hope you found real value in what was shared. Do me a favor, I want to continue the journey with you. Head on over to getintouchwithrk3.com. That's right, getintouchwithrk3.com. On that page, you'll find all of the different places on the interwebs that you can get connected with me. And there are also some great resources for you to download. Download them because they're designed to help you become better presenters, better communicators, and video storytellers. And that's what we need more of in this world, right? Listen, get connected. Go to getintouchwithrk3.com. I'm RK3, and I hope to see you in my inbox real soon.
Teleprompter, create videos you're proud of. Easily trim your video by selecting the words where you want to start and end. Color your presentation with automatic subtitles and highlighting keywords. Add your brand logo. Add music for an emotional touch. Add your contact info on an animated business card on all your videos. Easily replace green screen with an image or a video loop. Stand out with a web page with your logo, your video at the center, and personalized button for visitors to interact. It's one tap to simultaneously upload your videos on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Always know what to say next with the Big View teleprompter.